Good evening, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Richard again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Thursday, December 25th, 2014, around 8:11 p.m. in Bellwickham, Massachusetts. It's dark out now, and the temperature is going downhill. And hopefully everybody had a great Christmas and Christmas dinner. Hopefully you got everything you wanted, got to spend time with the family and maybe friends. Now it's time to relax, and Christmas starts the last week of the year, and next Thursday will be 2015. One little tidbit to report: the Miami Heat beat the Cleveland Cavaliers by the score of 101-91, spoiling LeBron James' homecoming back to South Beach. LeBron scored 30 points, but that wasn't enough. And that's about it on that. My third and final video blog of the night is my personality profile, and this week I've been profiling some of the greatest pro athletes ever to play in Dallas, Texas. And this one is Nolan Ryan, pitcher. Nolan Ryan pitched 5 seasons for the Texas Rangers, which is they're based out of Dallas, even though Arlington, but that Arlington's part of the Dallas market. And Nolan Ryan pitched 27 seasons in the big league. That's a record for a pitcher and a player. He was one of the greatest power pitchers of all time, pitching for the Mets, Angels, Astros, and Rangers. Nolan Ryan's real first name is Lynn Nolan Ryan Jr. He was born in Refugio, Texas, and he grew up in Alvin, Texas. And he liked to throw objects a lot as a young child, and throwing objects means he got a development of his arm, and by the age of 9, he started Little League Baseball doing pitching. And he was a great pitcher in Little League. He even threw no-hitters, and he became his fastball was getting good in his preteen and teen years. And in high school, he threw a very great fastball, and some of the catchers on his team just didn't want to catch for him because he threw the fastball so hard that it hurt their hands, and a couple of them suffered some fractured fingertips and stuff. And he was being scouted by a lot of major league teams, saying he could be a great power pitcher, and because he threw a lot of strikes as well. He was a strikeout pitcher in high school. The New York Mets drafted him in the 12th round of the 1965 Major League Baseball draft. He only spent about 1.25 years in the minor leagues, and he was called up to the New York Mets on September 11th, 1966. He missed the 1967 season because he was back in the minors, plus he was in the U.S. Army Reserves, so he didn't get to play baseball in 1967 in the big leagues. And in 1968, he made the major leagues for good for the Mets, and he pitched for them until 1971. He was basically came out of the bullpen or had a spot start here and there, but he wasn't regularly a rotation guy starting pitcher for the Mets because they had Tom Seaver and Jerry Koosman, two of the greatest pitchers in baseball at the time. And there was a lot of people who were saying that Nolan Ryan might be one of those pitchers who were back and forth, maybe not develop into a great power pitcher. And at the end of the 1971 season, Nolan Ryan and several other players were traded to the California Angels for Jim Fregosi, shortstop for the Angels. And this was kind of a lopsided trade because Fregosi was an all-star shortstop for the Angels for many years, but he was on the downside of his career, and this is like a lopsided trade because from 1972 through 1979, Nolan pitched for the Angels, and he was a great strikeout pitcher. Twice he won 20 games in an Angels uniform, and he finished in the Cy Young Award, winning twice in second place. He struck out a lot of batters. He set the major league record for most strikeouts by a pitcher for 383 set in 1973, but he walked a lot of batters, and he had so many wins, but he had so many losses. But he was a very powerful power pitcher. Every time he took the mound, he completed a lot of complete games. Plus, he threw four no-hitters in an Angels uniform, which was pretty amazing. And at the end of the 1979 season, Nolan Ryan signed with the Houston Astros, and he was the first major league player and pitcher to average a salary of $1 million per year in 1980. That's pretty amazing for a power pitcher. And Nolan Ryan continued to have his dominance. He struck out a lot of batters and stuff. His win-loss record was iffy at best, but in 1981 he pitched his fifth no-hitter and stuff, and he led the National League in ERA in 1981, and he also led it in 1987, and he also led the NL in ERA in 1987, but he was the first major league pitcher to lead the league in ERA and strikeouts, but did not win the Cy Young because that year he had an 8-16 record with the Astros. He didn't get any Cy Young consideration. They don't give Cy Young award winners to players with pitchers with losing records completely. And then Nolan Ryan pitched 9 years with the Astros, and in 1988 the Astros didn't resign him because he was in his 42 and they thought his career was going downhill. But the Texas Rangers signed him for 1989, and he pitched 5 seasons in Texas, at Arlington, Texas, and he was a very good pitcher for them. He won his 300th game with them in 1990. He got his 5,000 strikeout bat in 1989. Ricky Henderson was the 5,000 strikeout victim for Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan also pitched a no-hitter in 1991, and Nolan Ryan retired at the end of the 1993 season. And Nolan Ryan's had a career record of 324 and 292 with a 3.17 ERA, 5,714 strikeouts. That record's never going to be broken. But he walked a record 2,795 batters, 222 complete games, 61 shutouts, 7 no-hitters, a major league record. 15 times he had 200 or more strikeouts a season. That's amazing. 2 times 20-game winner. 6 times he was in the top 5 for the Cy Young voting. He also struck out 7 pairs of father-son major leaguers, and he's the only player in Major League history to have his number retired by 3 teams. The Angels retire his number 30, and the Astros and Rangers retire his number 34. And after Nolan Ryan's career was over, he became a cattleman. He owns his own beef company. He one time owned 2 minor league baseball teams, the Corpus Christi Hooks, who play in Double-A for the Texas League, and the Round Rock Express in Triple-A Pacific Coast League. In 1999, Nolan Ryan was voted into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. He got over 98% of the votes. Pretty amazing. There was some critics who says he got a so high vote total because he was basically almost like a 500 pitcher, but striking out so many guys. A record that's never going to be broken. That deserves first ballot consideration easily and stuff like that. Nolan's probably the best power pitcher of all time. And Nolan Ryan wrote 6 books about pitching. Pretty amazing. And for a few years, Nolan Ryan was the president and CEO of the Texas Rangers. He was the president and CEO when they made appearances in the World Series in 2010 and 2011, but he left the organization at the end of 2013 because he had trouble with the new ownership group and stuff. Currently, Nolan Ryan is the special assistant to the Astros CEO, and hopefully Nolan Ryan could help the Astros become winners again. Maybe he could reach the World Series in a few years and stuff like that, and maybe Nolan Ryan could get a World Series championship as an executive. He got one as a player in 1969 with the New York Mets. I think Nolan Ryan's the greatest power pitcher in Major League history, bar none. And that's about it on Nolan Ryan. Hope you've been enjoying these video blogs, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. These video blogs are now expanding everywhere, getting more and more followers on YouTube and more likes on Facebook, and even a lot of people are sharing them. That's good. More the merrier. Tomorrow's topics I'll be including will be the top 10 WWE superstars that should have had a run with the WWE Championship. And another video blog tomorrow will be about the classic television series Small Wonder, and the personality profile is going to be about Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker. A note, this weekend there'll be no like top 10 video blogs because that's going to take a rest for the weekend. But next week, my top 10 video blogs will be about the top 10 greatest Chicago Cubs players and pitchers, and the Chicago White Sox players and pitchers of all time. And the week after that, it's going to be the top 10 Milwaukee Brewers players and pitchers, and the top 10 Minnesota Twin players and pitchers of all time. See, I'm doing it from team by team by team for all of these teams. All 30 teams are going to be covered in Major League Baseball. And then maybe I'll do the top 10 players of all time for all 30 NBA teams, and then all top 10 players of all 32 NFL teams of all time, because this is an interesting list. And there'll be more personality profiles on people and stuff, and more other stuff, and classic television shows, and maybe professional wrestling and stuff. And the list goes on and on. I'm not going away on these video blogs. They're here to stay. Good night, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. See you tomorrow. And Merry Christmas. It's only a few more hours before it's over.